piece, the very first one that was shown. Thanks. It was, when I was very small, there was a German deli like near our house, and it was a book there called Der Struwelpeter, and it was actually a children's book that my dad had owned when he was little, so he's like, oh my gosh, so he bought it for me. And in that book was the story of the thumb-cutting tailor, and, you know, it was probably one of my favorite tales as a kid. And so for my senior thesis, I decided, you know, why not take my favorite tale and put my own spin to it. So, you know, I had created that, so.
Did you do the illustration, or did you do the...
Yep, I did everything in the film. I, you know, built the characters, did all the shots, the coloring, pretty much everything, so.
What program did you use for that animation program?
I used, it's called Autodesk Maya, and it's the main program that all computer animators use. So. And then for the editing, I used Photoshop Premiere. Okay. So, yep.
How long did that take you?
In total, it took about 1.5 years. Including post-production, that's like, you know, designing the characters on paper, and then storyboarding the whole story out, writing, you know, the important story points down. That took about half a year, and then an entire year of full production, so, yep. It was a lot, but it was fun, definitely fun.
Many late nights in the labs at like 3 a.m. I try to call her and she'd be in the lab middle of the night.
So now that you've graduated from Ringling, what's next?
Well, I'm currently looking for a job. I've been freelancing this whole time since I've graduated last year. I've actually been trying to write a script, actually, for another film I want to make. And, yeah, just, like, doing stuff like that. But now, you know, I've come down to Florida, so I'm going to try to catch some interviewers at my old school and hopefully get a job there.
So you're looking for animation type?
Yep.
So with Disney and...
Yeah, with Disney, Pixar,
yeah,
all those big companies, so...
Great.
I was telling them I wanted to get into Spiritual Cinema Circle, you know, because I'm a member, and I always wanted to make films, but I just, you know, never had the time to really look at it. And then I had my last CPA job, you know, I left that one and I started to do consulting, so I had a lot more time on the weekends. Well, it's just not a lot of time, but still some time. So then I started to read scripts, you know, writing script, how to write a script, and just books on filmmaking. And then I thought, why not make a spiritual film and make positive films? And they're calling those films kind of like transformational films. Instead of saying spiritual, they're films that change you for the better. And so I just wrote the script, you know, like just for the voices that I wanted to work on that, and then just hired a production company. And I worked mostly on the post-production too, because there was a lot of color issues with the Red camera. And I don't know if they were familiar with it, so I mean, you could even see some of it, you know. I mean, I see colors because I was also an artist before. And then it took also like about a year, you know, just my weekends, because things going back and forth, you know, back and forth. So I took time waiting around for the composer to finish the music, and then it got into spiritual cinema, so it got in. So I was excited about that because that was the whole purpose. So they loved the film, so I was glad about it.
How did you find the funding for it?
I just financed it myself. The budget was like $10,000, but you know, he was supposed to do everything, but you know, of course things fall apart sometimes. They couldn't do the sound design, so I had to hire someone. And then my friend who was supposed to write the music, because he writes music, couldn't do it, so then I had to pay someone to write the music. So before you know it, kept going up and up. But
So how much is it?
I would say 20. But they always say it costs about 20 for a film. I think it's about 20. I haven't done the whole. That's the tax return I've got to do for myself. So, but I think it probably ended up being like 20 because the sound person, just her and the music was about like 3,500 for back and forth, and then I had some editing problems. I had to hire other people to fix it, and then that fell apart there. So it's just a lot of wasted money, but I figured it's kind of like going to film school for a year. It's 30 grand to go to film school, so I'm kind of close. And I learned a lot. I know what not to do. So, and the contracts and producing was easy because I'm a CPA, so reading contracts and fixing them and making sure I have everything organized. That was easy. But directing was kind of hard because being the first year, nobody wanted to listen to me. I was asking them to do things nobody would listen. But, I just kind of let it go, and I said, let me see how it looks after, it's done, but you can't fix it then. And we were very short on time, too. Some of the actresses were, if they acted well on a scene, somehow that one I couldn't use, and, I didn't know if you noticed her bra, when she was wearing like a lacy bra, and who knew I had to worry about what kind of bra she wore to the set. And then she was running, and I was like, oh my God. So we had to try and cut as much as I could, and there were scenes where she was walking I had to cut out that, would have made it more enjoyable.
Excuse me for the intrusion. We're going to be beginning.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming.